Yeah.
And is that going to be KQ or is that going to be Frost Mountain? I mean, despite the fact that Virtus Pro had it for 6%, it has switched over just off the back of Frost Mountain's Rage of Ultron.
Boo able to pull on in with the Psychic Spear, but Venom will swing away. Nevic's not going to get taken down as of yet, but bought a little bit of time for the rest of Virtus Pro to come back in and regroup. No compositional swaps yet, everything just sticking pretty much the same. Keeping the pressure on KQ, playing far forward, close to that wall, so it's harder to flank them. Here comes the Galactic Legend from Sparker into the sidelines, trying to keep the heating up, but Name with the Eternal Bond is making sure that they have a pathway to try and dive into Virtus Pro, taking the fight to them, but with Silent Seduction from Mabuhu, they are able to take out Cypher.
OGC, they're making a really good go of this. You've got Virtus Pro dedicating big ultimates, not having control of the point, so OGC, they're in control, and they've also managed to wipe out Virtus Pro off the back of the likes of Silent Seduction being used, Fate of Both Worlds, even the Galactic Legend from Sparker, and Virtus Pro found no value from it.
They can't seem to find an opening. OGC still hold this. We're at 60%. They have the Feast from the Abyss. While Cypher does have the Invisible Boundary, Nevix will soon have their own Feast from the Abyss. But the fact is, a lot of this percentage is now being picked up, and we're seeing why Ultron is being played so often. Even though OGC haven't shown it yet because it's been banned against them, we're starting to see why.
Rage of Ultron, they're going to be separated and forced back. Gainer went in for the dive, but gets caught out, tried to jump back to where he thought his team was, but that's exactly where he runs right into Spark. This is a good fight for Virtus Pro, and even though OGC, they're 95% on the objective, they might start to stress out a little bit more if they don't get this reset in cleanly.
In Hovered on Strange, but decided against it, so they're not going in for a portal re-engage. They're just going to regroup and decide to take this in one more go. At 70%, Virtus Pro are more than prepared. Hang on, KQ waiting in spawn. In fact, they might be looking for a portal, as they are all waiting to group up together. But the question is, if they are, who's doing it? Or were they just making sure that no one on Virtus Pro could roam all the way from the point and try and take it out early?
I think they were just a little bit worried, especially now you're looking at the ult charge. You probably have an expectation that Virtus Pro has sat on quite a lot of ultimates to go into this potential final fight. 5 from just distance is able to actually make this a
Boundary and Sparker to melt on through, and they just keep coming through the portal one by one, but reinforcements are cut off, and Virtus Pro take round 1.
A little bit of a sloppy start from Virtus Pro, I think, with how they've approached the cradle part of Krakoa. But those final fights, very clean. I just felt that that was OGC's to lose. I think that they set themselves off. It's a pick, at least for Sparker, that's been able to be a hunting dog off the back of where Virtus Pro wants him. It means that it's going to be a very clean first point take, unlike Cradle.
Gainer once again going down early. Nevix following it in quick succession. The Venoms, they're trying to make this happen, but again, to the Emma Frosts, it's a little bit more difficult. You can get stunned out quite easily. Here comes the Rage of Ultron, burn it early. It's a very quick cooldown to really charge up. Trying to focus down onto Dridro, who uses the map heal, and the Rotinho forcing out the Fate of Both Worlds. That's a super worthy trade.
It was, and you had to worry about the health pack there and stuff too. But OGC, it's like, okay, now that you've forced out a big ultimate, are you able to have the follow-up? Well, you're going to use the Silent Seduction, and you've got Frost Mountain being able to actually get the pick in the end eventually onto Dridro. But you have to look at Sparker. He's 90% away, having another Galactic Legend. We've seen a lot of saviors come through, but it's not even going to be needed, actually, as Nevix, it would have been Finzi, was able to find 2 picks to keep.
To get onto Lapsis, who will use the terrain as an escape, but it opens up for to take down Frost Mountain. Cypher takes out a Boo, and down a person. Virtus Pro once again choose when to take a fight, and they are coming out extremely on top here. Sparker is dropped low, will retreat, plays it safe, and Virtus Pro flip it back over, 90%, and OGC to force the portal.
Ooh, it's tricky, actually. OGC did a good job there. Certainly Anami on the Cloak and Dagger being able to dodge the Endsong Inferno, baiting it out, had the Eternal Bond, but just gets focused down too much. The portal play is the last chance being able to fight this. And some of these fights have been good for OGC, but it's just been too long. It's allowed Virtus Pro to come back into these fights as reinforcements. Side of Seduction, try to pull people away from the point, all into a line to allow the rest of Virtus Pro to get their teeth into this backline.
To be maybe at least
because there's only like 16 teams playing up towards the actual objective. The problem is that Virtus Pro, we saw a lot of this map in MRC. The positioning on this point is very hard to break when you have these strategies set up to support each other. And again, it's just that one ultimate dedicated into this fight that allows OGC to be sent scarpering.
Another hold. Virtus Pro continuing to chase them all the way back this time. Catching Frost Mountain with the Groot Wall to prevent them from descending to enter in that doorway. Beautiful pickup.
Now, a reset again. Half the time's pretty much gone, Tetcher, and it feels like we've not really seen OGC be able to do much because Virtus Pro have frankly not allowed them to.
This is already OGC starting to burn through over half their time here as it starts to tick on down. Straggling Prison gonna come out. Invisible Boundary drops next to it. So I don't really know if that was needed from Virtus Pro, but hey, the result is effective.
Star power.
It's still like efficient money-wise as well. Just two ultimates combo.
Bringing them back to the fight, trying to damage them through that invisible boundary. Gonna push through this end fight. Like a hurricane, backline damage, but Frostbound can't find anything and can't see Saipe keeping the team topped up. Aya Wakamoto, last ditch effort from OG Seed, but they cannot find the finishing blows. Finally Saipe falls, finally Sparker falls. OG Seed, have they created an opening?
It's still just enough plays from Virtus Pro to keep this one stalling, and the wick is starting to burn a little bit in OT. This isn't OGC playing for a draw, though. They managed to get 35% onto the point, and now it's encroaching up towards 50. So Virtus Pro happy to give up some of this space to go for a recontest here, even off the back of a portal, which we're just pretty much right by the point, too. So now it's a case of holding on for OGC if they can actually take this point first, but no, they forced it back out pretty much completely off the back of that Endsong Inferno.
It's going to be a reset, but Sparker goes down, so they won't get it in time. We're starting to see a lot of the bodies from Virtus Pro getting cleaned up, and OG Seed grab point number 1. They finally force the issue. The single strategist portal aside massively disengaged the second they cast this, getting caught out, trying to push on through. They find no pickup, but they've made space, and that's the main plan here. Invisible Boundary comes on out. Gainer, ultimate interrupted, put on the half cooldown, crack and impact to try and trade out both Sparker and KQ. Neither one finds the reset. Vinci gonna try and make one happen with a long range ball, finds nothing. Sparker pulling on in with as much damage as they can maintain the voltage. Gets counter-pulled! KQ looking for the opening, facing the abyss onto the backline, and it's KQ taken down with lapses from 5.
Vi's finding so much as well because everybody from OG Seed is grouped up together, so the sort of cleave explosion damage that's happening off the left click has just been so irritating for OG Seed to deal with. But it's looking like 75 meters past that first point is where the payload is going to stop on the side of OG Seed. Virtus Pro maybe wanted to full hold it considering how the first 3.5 minutes went of that defense, but I think they're going to be happy that it's not going to travel too far after.
Now, how well can OG Seed lock down the point? Virtus Pro doing what they've actually done a couple times now, looking at the Thor. Speed and aggression, discipline.
They're going to be right in your face approach from Virtus Pro. It means the fire could just basically sit on a little bit of high ground and just have this suppressive fire coming in for free. Spark is just boots on the ground, fighting in style, very low accurate from what you'd expect to see from Bucky. And 5.5 minutes to move it 70 meters, 65 meters, 60 meters. You could already see just how quickly Virtus Pro are making traction.
Also, there's no portal available because Gainer swapped over to Strange and would have definitely been in the midst of casting that. Just couldn't reach the point, which is why we saw Frost Mountain rush in on that Phoenix to try and delay in time. So no portal means no reinforcements, meaning this is kind of all or nothing for OGC now. If they do not take out Virtus Pro and hold this point right here, right now, then that's it. It's done. And they are defending this extremely far back. The essence is coming, guys. Boohoo's going to make their way onto the point to try and buy as much time as possible. Gainer's dropped low, visible boundary forced onto the point. Saipe gonna be matching it in exchange. Endsong Inferno, OG Seed burning everything, but Vi matching to try and trade it through. Vinci into the backline, onto the last remaining defender on the
a thing anymore. It's not even remotely
for their team. Vi gets taken out, being a bit too far forward. You can see KQ was looking for the ultimate there, but it's shut down as they get counter-caught by Vinci with their own psionic seduction.
able to hold the line. This time, though, it isn't just your 2-2-2 setup for Virtus Pro. They do respect that this has to be pretty much triple Vanguard, triple strategist territory. And Sparker's even getting involved with just able to put out some of the damage over onto the Rocket Raccoon. Gainer, though, actually able to catch up fire that was on the Doctor Strange.
Like a hurricane from Frost Mountain, creating a little bit of space, but not able to find anything for a finishing blow. The boundary was once again forced out, meaning that that will be a defensive tool traded, and that could create the opening for KQ, who still held on to this hand of Khonshu, which could be enough to burst on through. There comes the damage boost from Name. We see so much belief from OGC onto this Cloak and Dagger, and that Terracade still does the job. Invisible boundary from Lapsis, Frost Mountain will fall, but Virtus Pro, they're losing ground. They have to burn another Sonic Seduction. There's a straggling prison with the
just at 85, and it feels that OGC, if they lose this engagement or even worse get bullied off of it, they might be watching this payload move straight past them from the portal.
Try and hold this with everything they've got. They've got that invisible boundary coming out. They're gonna very soon. They burn the Sire, they burn the Seer and the Eternal Bond at the same time. If Virtus Pro survive this, then they can just counter push in one more time with no defenses left on the board. But it looks like they won't. 2 strategist ultimates. It's just a bit too much to deal with.
But then you've got to hold for 2.5 minutes, and you have got another Fist of Khonshu and a Strangling Prison in itself. Yep. That could be a winning factor here. Abuhu does have an Eye of Agamotto. He is the only one that's going to keep a minute here.
Psionic Vortex to buy a little bit of extra time to slow them down, as Virtus Pro don't even take the long way round. They come through the center building to just make sure they're on that point as quick as possible. Don't give OTC time to set up. Don't give them time to react. I have Agamotto.
But all of them are just in blistering form today. Mostly 3-0s across the board in these best of 5s, other than FaZe taking a map away from Chopped just before this one. Everything else, though, is a clear, distinct top 3 teams, top 4 maybe, away from everybody else. And that's kind of what you want to be seeing if you're going for a qualification game for a grand finals event.
Exactly, and that's what this means. Tomorrow's games, if you make it to the upper bracket finals, the lowest position you can come is 3rd. You are qualified. Means Citadel versus Na'Vi and Chopped versus